Hi everyone, it's Ayesha here from God FM, and I want to talk about the links and the images and the emojis that people send. Now, this is about gang stalking, child eating, blood drinkers who are dealers and traders in souls and minds and traffickers of people, as well as dealers of adrenochrome and drugs. These are the very serious criminals that have been hired by our governments to harass and stalk, home invade, gas, poison, hack, and stalk people like me on a daily. But it's not just daily, it's every second of every minute, of every hour, of every day. And I want to talk about the methods of how they take control of your device. I have already done quite a lot of extensive studies on this because I, for one, really don't like being tortured either in my home through my phone, and having child eaters taking over my phone number and my phone. So I've gone to quite extreme levels to stop this. And this includes, but is not limited to, not accepting images and not accepting links or emojis. You know, when you send a message and you can put a little love heart and you can put those little things. Do you know those things can embed code? But the emojis are also from King Solomon. And the emojis represent the summoning up of demonic realm. Each emoji that was created has a specific purpose. And this is a way of invoking the dead and summoning the demonic realm into your realm by using emojis, smiley faces, crying faces with little tears, etc. And so I have stopped using emojis and I have removed it from my keyboard on my phone. I will sometimes send a love heart because I really think that one is okay, but the rest I really worry about them. And I also know that the value of my soul surpasses anything. And this is currently a harvest for souls and minds. The reapers have arrived and they are in full force, hacking, stalking, and it is like a fox hunt where they will terrorize and harass a person until they're so tired that they kill themselves. Like me. I've reached that point where I actually want to kill myself because I don't want to be here. I don't see the point in being here. And, I really don't care what anyone thinks either. I also don't want my consciousness stolen and put in the metaverse, and I don't want my soul stolen. And with all the things they've rigged up, and the extents of, extremes they've gone to, by hiring my neighbors, by putting people in all around me to dig and mess with my cars, make sure I can't earn a living. I don't see the point in being here. I really don't. I have told the Lord the same. It is like living in a horror film. I can't believe that this is allowed to happen to innocent civilians. And that's why I talk about it. I also talked about the fact that I want to kill myself for the same reasons, so that people are aware of what it is like to be terrified in your own home and be frightened all the time. Frightened of using appliances, frightened of using your mobile phone, frightened of using your own SIM card, frightened of switching on your electricity in case you get electrocuted or a plug explodes like it's happened to me, or your electrics catch fire. Frightened of being followed, frightened of being tortured. Spending your life in fear whenever you hear the neighbors' doors slamming or them drilling to rig up their next set of torture devices. Frightened when you see the bright lights are switched on outside, the radiation, microwave lights that are going to cook you tonight, so you ponder whether you should try and go to sleep or not. And you wonder how to defend yourself against these weapons that they're using. Frightened of drinking your own water, frightened of being able to use your own toilet, frightened of leaving your home, frightened of going out, frightened of not going out, frightened of existence. And having, this eternal doom inside of no one helping you, everyone's paid off not to help you. Eternal doom of, not looking forward to being here, not looking forward to another day, wanting to be dead, pondering how to kill yourself every single second of every minute of every hour of every day. Only to realize that even if you kill yourself, you might end up in a worse place. And if you kill yourself, you have to make sure that you can't be found for a few days, so they can't take your consciousness as well. And I think it's important to talk about it, because I'm not depressed in the sense that I don't want to be here. I do want to be here. I really would love to be able to be here and exist and, operate normally. But I can't do that because I am a trafficked person, and I am filmed and watched and stalked and hacked in every level. And someone has stolen my identity for the amusement of Satanists who run the world. All I can hope is that the child-eating, blood-drinking psychopaths are caught and put in jail where they belong, because this kind of crime, merchants of bodies, minds and souls and children, blood of people, terrorize day and night, these people need to go to jail. Because from my point of view, if this is what is allowed to be happening, then there is no point to being here. I'm a preacher of the Lord, and I don't preach the Lord anymore. I don't even read his Bible anymore. I can't leave my Bible lying around in my home in case they vandalize it. The Bible I write in and studied with, I'm frightened to leave it in my home in case it gets vandalized. I'm frightened to leave anything in my house. I have to carry a ginormous bag around with me in case they come in my home and, get into one of my phones or my Apple TV box, or I have to lock everything away every time I go out. I want to talk about it. What it is like to be a targeted individual and having your neighbors torturing you and pretending that they're not, and how horrendous it is. Just the other day, I saw a gang stalker, and he was what I thought was a friend. Every time I've asked him to help me to start my car, he wouldn't help me. And this is another part of it, they'll vandalize the car so that the car won't start. And then you'll buy a battery, and then they'll vandalize it again so that the car won't start. So you'll have to keep buying batteries 200 or 300 pounds. And when your income's been diminished and you can't earn anything, it's hard to survive, really. So I actually told him last year that I had planned to euthanize myself in Switzerland because I just don't want to be here. And I thought I'd plan it, book it in, and have a party to go, to leave this place because it's so horrible here and I don't want to be here, But when I contacted them, they wanted a letter from relatives and they wanted, to know the full story, and there wouldn't be any way to check whether they stole my consciousness and my body parts, organs for the trafficking, other part of the trafficking. So I decided that maybe the best way would be to put a pipe through the exhaust of the car and gas myself to death, or to hang myself, or to jump in front of a train. And those are my sort of plans. One of those will be the way I go, I think. And do I think I'm going to go to hell? I don't know if I will go to hell. But I feel like I'm in hell already. So I don't think it can be that much worse than what I'm going through now. And I'm sure God didn't put me here to be tortured, hacked, stalked, and terrorized. And then get angry because I couldn't take it anymore and I just don't want to be here. So I don't think God will put me in hell. But, it's a chance I'm prepared to take at this stage because it's become so unbearable here. I understand why people kill themselves. If you've got problems in your life, then you can normally work through them. But when you've got a gang of neighbors, then it's very hard. But as I say, I told this guy, and he didn't really seem that miffed about it. Anyway, he said to me, "Oh, your car, someone wants to buy your wheels, £250. I said, "Yeah, I've asked to see if someone will help me get the thing started." And he said, "Oh, £250, I can help you. I will get it started for you and take the car away." Because he will happily get it started to take the car away. Because he's not yet to help me. Really. And I said, well, might as well, because I don't plan on being here much longer. I plan on killing myself. And he said, yeah, you told me that. And this is the thing as well. People are not bothered. They couldn't give a shit. They couldn't give a damn. And the people who partake in this, they've got aerials on their roofs. And this one has aerials on his roof as well. The satellite dishes, I've got one on the old age home on Rock Road. Loads of satellite dishes, massive aerials. When I face a mirror at that aerial, I don't have problems with backache and neckache. And I've got another one on the other side facing my bedroom. I can't get a radio signal in my kitchen unless I shield the window with tinfoil, and I get a signal better with tinfoil up against the window than I do without it. I can't get a signal. I have to shield the aerial from the neighbor. Okay, just to give you an idea, the people who live in the old age home at Rock Road are child eaters, blood drinkers, torturers of Christians, evil people. Because this isn't just one little flat. This is the main building that has had these aerials and little perches put on for the seagulls. Which again, I've said I don't believe are real seagulls because they've got little perches, which I believe are their charging stations. And so, as I say, every time I would wake up in the place, when I first moved here, I noticed these seagulls and the perches. First of all, there were 2, then there were 3, then there were 12, Then there were 17. Now there's 29, I think, perches for the little seagulls. And every time I woke up, I would see the seagulls all perched on their thing, going and looking in. I thought, it's just not normal. So I put up blackout blinds and stuff in the windows, blackout tinting, and the seagulls left. And I don't know if that's my imagination, you see. Suddenly they stopped being on the perches. And then I noticed that the blackout tinting wasn't as effective anymore, and you could see through it. So I reckon they changed it. So I put some new up, and then they went away again. So yeah, I want to talk about the levels of crime that people go to using invisible weapons. Last night, all of the lights were on. I put up blackout blinds on one of the windows, and then I noticed that my pains in my back went away. So it's all related to these lights. And then they turned it up even higher. So bright were the lights. It was like daytime outside. And as I say, they've not been using the lights. They've been doing the invisible ones. And I've got another neighbour who lives in the same property, 20 Melville Street. And he's got his light on all night. And it's not very bright. But it's got a square inside the window, like there's something propped up against the window. And I believe that is a type of a device that is propped up against the window with a laser device, because the pain can only come from a laser pointed. And these, as I say, come through the window. This is someone who used to have dark curtains and now has light curtains. And with the neighbours below, they were doing the same, and oh my God, it was just awful. It was unbearable whenever they'd put their lights on. And I actually saw a secondary light in their property as well. And I believe that might have been the laser light, which they quickly closed the curtain when I saw that. I also saw little blue things that they'd pinned into the window frame, like spongy blue, quite hard things, almost to hold something up against the window. Now, window is a lens, and I've already told you this is about lasering new images onto you to rewrite your image and steal your mind and your consciousness and your soul. And this is being conducted at a local level and a world level, and just people are not aware of it. If you have backache, neck ache, bum ache, if you feel like your vagina is being cooked, or your willy or your bum is being cooked, this is this technology. That's because the nano has crawled up your bum and your vagina, and it's taken occupancy inside you. If you've got severe headaches, this is the stuff. If you've got ringing in your ears, this is the stuff, the same. And like I say, I don't want to be here. I don't see the point. I don't really care what people think. I've reached the point of not really caring what anyone thinks. I can't conduct my life. I don't see the point to being here. If God doesn't do anything, then I shall do something with me to take me out of here. And that's the conclusion I've come to. I don't think anyone's ever going to stop these people. I have masses and masses of evidence. And I find it incredibly sadistic and cruel that people will do this to someone full time, to the point where they want to kill themselves every day. And that's what it's like. And I want to talk about it, because this is happening to me, and I'm not crazy. I promise you I'm not. And I was thinking about it, and at my old house, everything was great until certain people had moved into my building. Brian Harris was one of them. And the neighbors to the side also moved out. New people moved in. And I realized now that they've got they had little fairy lights. And I mean, I actually really believe that any lights can be used to torture you. And it's evil. And the governments are the people doing this, and they deny it, but they advertise for gang stalkers. They hire them through the neighborhood watch. I've got neighbors who taunt me and follow me. I've got so much evidence of it. I've even got witnesses who witnessed this guy taunting me and making fun of me and mocking me in the post office and saying, "Oh, what you going to do, pray to Jesus, are you?" Because he knows what he's doing, and he's torturing me every day through the side window of 21 Melville Street, through my window of my lounge. And then I think about his family, and I wonder how he can maintain a straight face doing these things. I wonder about all the neighbors, actually. I've had little Indians try and pour little bits of powder on me down the stairs. They've rigged up the outside toilet pipe so it leaks sewage all over the yard. No one will fix it, of course, because everyone's been paid off not to do these things, not to fix things. And basically, I feel stranded and alone, and I'm frightened of staying here on Earth. Frightened of staying here. Frightened of being in my own life. Frightened of everything. Tired. Exhausted. And like I said, I don't want to have to kill myself. But it's the only way for this to stop for me. Because no one will do anything. And, yeah, that's the way I feel. I wonder how many other people feel the same way. I know I've got a friend in America. When I was planning on euthanizing myself, she said, "Oh, I want to come with you. I don't want to be here either. I've had enough of being tortured too." So then I thought, well, I've got to be careful. I don't want to take anyone else out of here. If I do end up in hell, I don't want to take some other people with me. And that's what it's come down to. Should I stay? Or shall I go? If I go, will I end up in hell? If I stay, and I pray to God, will He ever stop them? Will the government ever stop hiring people to torture me and follow me and try and steal my mind and soul? I don't think anyone will ever stop them. I don't think I'll ever have a normal life. I don't think I'll ever be happy here. And I don't want to stay here. I don't see the point in being here. I understand technology, and I've tried to explain it to you. But again, I'm only dealing with the symptoms of what I know they're doing. The actual whole operation needs to stop. So, when I get this stuff off, everything's fine. And so this means blacking out all the windows and turning off the water, turning off the electricity, turning off the gas, and putting magnets in certain parts of my home, moving the bed so they can't line up all of their torture stuff to the bed, and I'll sleep well. Oh yes, close off all the windows and the doors, and also lock myself in, barricade everything up so they can't break in, seal up all windows and drains so they can't gas me. Don't eat and don't drink anything in the house in case they've tampered with it. And I'm fine, just like normal, just like before this all started. No backache, no neck ache, no bum ache, no headaches, no ringing in the ears, no bites on my ears, no acid in my bath, no doggy water. And I've done that before, and it's been quite nice. And then I go out, and they've come in, and they've rigged up some new things in the home to torture me again, even more. So yeah, I don't know what to suggest, but I want to talk about how I feel, because it might help other gang-stalked victims. And I want to expose the people who do this to me, because I think they should go to jail. And, these are weapons you can't see, and they're dangerous. And I'm a preacher of God, and I've always been a happy little lady. But for me to be at this point where I want to kill myself, because I don't want to be here, you'd have to do a lot to me to make me want to do that. And this makes me angry too, that this is allowed to happen, and people's behavior does not change. They have no feelings, they have no remorse, and they take enjoyment in destroying someone and terrorizing them. Old age pensioners who live in Rock Road take enjoyment out of doing it. Union Square, also, shopping centre, have had lights specifically fitted on their property to point at my home, and are activated when they want to switch on all of this stuff. So it's not bright lights all night, it's just when this stuff is on. They've also been in and modified the lights where I live, in the main building of 20 Melville Street, so that the lights in the main building are so bright inside they light up the outside. But when they haven't switched their stuff on, it's not so bright, you see. So again, it's all done in a very shady way. So when these lights are all on, my house at the back is like bright white at night, but all the other houses are not. And it's so obvious, but trying to capture this on camera is very hard at night. But I did manage to the other night. And even with the flash on, you could see the difference in colors of my neighbor's house to mine, and that all the other houses around are dark, but mine is bright white, all lit up by these lights. I've got neighbors next to me at number 19 Melville Street who have got a ladder right next to my wall, and I have heard them climbing on the roof. Again, I can't do anything. They've got jammers so that I can't connect to the internet. They've got spoofing Wi-Fi's. I mean, it's every level of attack. I've also been raped by these people and drugged. And no one will do anything. So, what is a person to do if they're not going to get any justice? And they're going to be terrorized every day. To the point where the neighbors actually, as I say, taunt you publicly, make fun of you and mock you for being a Christian and worshipping Jesus, because they know they're not going to get caught because they are working for the gangsters who are child eaters and blood drinkers and dealers in adrenochrome for this area. They have hired criminals, and it's a known fact. They are hiring pedophiles and murderers and people from the prisons to do this because they understand the layout of break-in, entry, and to be paid to commit crime. There's nothing nicer, is there, for a criminal? So these guys are being hired and all their crimes are covered. Now, I don't know if you've watched some of these films. There was a 007 type film, or one of Tom Cruise's films where they break in to steal gold and silver and items of high value, and they're professional break-ins and thieves, and so they don't get caught. And I was thinking about the lasers that they used so that it would trigger the alarm. Invisible lasers that they didn't see, and they had to practice for days to break in. And these are the same people that they've hired to do this. And for this to happen to an everyday person is unbelievable. But when you realize that they are buyers and sellers of souls and minds, it's not so unbelievable. And like I say, I've got screenshots, I've got so much evidence of how they do this, but no one will do anything. I've been in touch with everyone. So I kind of just feel a bit hopeless. I did do some live shows about it and spoke with loads of other victims of these crimes. But I also had a little circle of targeted individuals, and it turned out there were quite a few fake ones. So I stopped doing lives because I felt I was wasting my time. And these same people kept sending me links and images on WhatsApp, and this is the main reason I want to talk about these things today, is images and links. When people send these images and links through WhatsApp, and they can also do it through TikTok and Telegram, they seem to link it all up to your phone, and then it's embedded in the phone, and it rewrites the code for your phone, and your phone becomes a torture device. Your phone has a lens, and it has a microphone and a speaker, and they emit the frequencies and the sounds and everything else through the microphone and the lens to torture you. Yeah. But anyway, like I say, this is how I feel. I think it's good to talk about it. And just say, what kind of place is this where people are put in a position where they're never going to get any justice. So the only alternative and the only way to get out of a horror life like this is to kill yourself. That's what I think about. I also know that there's no point trying to make friends with anyone, because these people can get to anybody. So again, what's the point in being here? What is the point? Don't know. Find it really hard to get my head around it. And I've always been a happy person, as I say. But if this is life, and this is what it's about, I don't want anything to do with it. I'd rather be out of here, thanks. Alright, so it's Ayesha from God FM, talking about injustice of being a targeted individual, harassed and stalked, tortured by neighbors. My neighbors are murderers. I want to also mention that if I do kill myself, it will not really be, from my point of view, suicide. It'll be murder. Because if you terrorize someone to the point where the only escape of the terror and the torture is to kill themselves, that is murder. And so as far as I'm concerned, my neighbours are murderers. The old age home on Rock Road, murderers. 21 Melville Street, murderers. 19 Melville Street, murderers. 20 Melville Street, murderers. All residents around here who participate in this are murderers. To torture, harass, stalk, and terrorize an innocent lady to the point where she wants to kill herself and kills herself, they are murderers. So if I do kill myself, I hope that this would be the catalyst to set the rest free, that a proper investigation would be conducted and people will have to pay. Because I've talked about it extensively. So there's plenty of evidence, and I've done all the videos online. So if I did kill myself, I'd want a proper investigation into why did this lady kill herself. And the neighbours should be held accountable as murderers, as well as child eaters, blood drinkers, and adrenochrome dealers. That's what I want to talk about as well. I was thinking about it, and if you terrorize someone to the point where they're not going to get any justice and the only escape is to kill themselves, then that's murder. So as far as I'm concerned, when I look at these neighbours and I talk to them, I look at them as murderers. Okay. It's Ayesha from God FM, and if you want to find me, you can find me on Podbean, Spotify, Amazon, Samsung, Chrome, YouTube, Apple, X, as well as TikTok and Telegram as God FM News, God FM New, God FM Radio, and God FM Group, and God FM Media. You can email me, admin@godfm.org.uk, and you can WhatsApp me, +44 777 35 777 88. Have a good day. God bless you.